Have you experienced this where you go to big church and your students are in there and they are not connecting with what's going on? They're tossing stuff at each other. They're talking. And everything inside of you rises up because you know you've had a conversation with a parent or with an elder or your pastor going, hey, you got to get your students to be quiet. And maybe you're like me, you're like, they're not my kids. They've got parents.
Why would you blame me?
I've got something for you. I want to share with you 3 fun and creative ways to get your students locked in and engaged like never before when they attend big church. And stick around for the last one because my favorite idea is 3-Word Sunday. It's a game changer, I promise you.
I can't wait.
All right, first up, it's a classic, sermon bingo. Before the service starts, give your students a bingo card and have key words, phrases that they might hear in a sermon. And every time the pastor says one, they cross off that box. So not only does that keep them listening, but it turns the message into a fun challenge, right? And you can have bonus points if there's a small prize for the first bingo. I don't know how you're going to do that.
Bingo.
Maybe they need to take a picture of it and screenshot it or whatever. But you can also take and tailor that maybe to the theme of the message or look at some different scriptures that are coming up. Here's what I did for you. I made a Canva template for you for a sermon bingo, and you can download that. There's a link in the description below. I just made one page. You just go and search a whole bunch of ideas for words and phrases for a sermon. You know what they are. You've been doing this long enough. And then talk to whoever's preaching. Find out what they're talking about and take some of those potential words and scriptures and add them in there. All right, next up, note-taking challenge. Now, this is a great way to kind of combine fun with focus.
I'm going to combine elements of fun and motivation and education.
So here's what I want to encourage you to do with this note-taking challenge. Give your students like a customized worksheet with prompts like write down the main scripture, draw a doodle that represents the sermon topic, list 3 things you can apply this week. And if you're feeling competitive, challenge them to summarize a sermon in exactly 10 words by the end of the service. Now, I think you can understand why this would work, right? It helps students to actively process what they're hearing instead of just passively listening. Plus, it encourages some creativity and some deeper reflection, right? Maybe you want to take and have those students turn it in afterwards, take some pictures. Maybe there's a standout note or a drawing, like you're like, this is really cool, and put it onto your social media.
We should post something on social media.
And share, let other people see that. All right, now for my favorite idea, 3-Word Sunday. This one is pure gold for keeping students laser focused during the message. And here's how it works. The week before the service, and I've done this for years, the week before your service at youth group, have your students brainstorm a list of random words they'd like to hear in a sermon. Waffles, penguins, bananas. I've heard like diverticulitis, onomatopoeia, like just whatever words they want. Get a whole list. Maybe you put a whiteboard or send your iPad up to the screen, however you want to do it. Come up with that list of words and then have them vote to narrow down to 5 words. Key point here. You want to talk to whoever's preaching and ask them if they would be willing to do it. Because not everybody's willing to do it. I've had some pastors who they just weren't comfortable with it.
I'm not very comfortable with the idea of that.
If your pastor's comfortable with it, go for it. Or if you get to preach, do it when you're preaching. So then you take the 5 words and whoever's preaching has to naturally weave in 3 of the words into the sermon. Now the catch, whoever's preaching can't make it obvious that they're trying to use the words. They can't say, oh, the youth group is forcing me to use these words in a sermon, or they can't throw all 3 words in one boom, boom, boom and get it out of the way. It has to flow seamlessly with the message.
Seamless, Frankie.
So here's why I love this idea. Students know that the words are coming. They have engaged before the sermon actually started with the sermon by coming up with this list, and they're actively listening to see if the words are being used. So it really turns that passive experience into an interactive game. And maybe ahead of time, you can tell students like, okay, text me the 3 words you think that the pastor will use. And for every person who gets it right, I'm going to put their name into the wheel. And one of those people, one of you is going to win a prize. This idea has just done so well with my students in the past. All right, I do have a bonus idea. Ask a specific student or a group of students to take notes, and then after the service, be ready to share on camera what their main takeaways are from the sermon, and then post it on your social media. All right, there you have it. There's 4 creative ways to get students excited and engaged during Big Church. Sermon bingo, get them to do some friendly competition, encourage them with a note-taking challenge, and stay focused. Don't miss out on 3 Word Sunday. I'm telling you, it's a game changer. And then it challenge somebody maybe to be willing to be on camera afterwards. So here's my question. Which idea are you going to try first? Drop it into the comments below. And don't forget to grab the Canva template for Sermon Bingo. And put your own logo on it. Make a bunch of different ones and enjoy. Get your students engaged in the main service. You can do this for youth service as well, of course. But we all know the struggle that it is with having our students engaged in Big Church. This, I believe, will really help them. And until next time, see ya!